on, everyone? Welcome back to another video. If you don't know who I am, that means you're new. I'm Mark. What's good with y'all? Go check out my other videos. Check them out. Check them out. But first, stay on this one. So, I know it's been a few days. I know. But might as well, if I'm coming back like this, I got to come back with a bang. I got to come back with some facts on y'all. So, you guys read the title. You saw the thumbnail. Let's get right into it. The main reason why you are either shooting left or right and how to fix it. Now, the reason why I phrased it like that, either shooting left or right, it really just depends on if you're left-handed or right-handed. If you're a right-handed shooter, then, and we're talking, generally speaking, a majority of shooters are right-handed, you might be shooting a bit left. And if you are left-handed, you might just be shooting a bit right. And I'm going to go into exactly why that is. So a lot of people might be thinking maybe their sights are off, maybe just their firearm is not accurate, maybe it's garbage ammo. But they go over every single excuse they can to try to not take accountability and do research in as to why they're shooting a little bit off. And I'm here to tell you exactly why. Excuse me. So let's get right into it. For starters, when you present your firearm and you are pulling the trigger, make sure that you have a firm grip with both hands. Slowly pull the trigger. Now, if you are a right-handed shooter and you give just a little bit too much trigger finger, you are going to shoot a little bit left. Depending on how much trigger finger you give decides how left you will be shooting. And vice versa, if you are a left-handed shooter and you're giving too much trigger finger, you will be shooting a bit right. And again, depending on how much trigger finger you're giving will pretty much decide how right you're shooting in that case. Why is that? Well, it's because when you're giving too much trigger finger, let me go ahead and double check. You guys can see here, I'm going to be giving much more than what I recommend. You pull that trigger, and even if you guys didn't notice it, even if it was just a tiny bit, my hand moved left. Why is that? Because I have so much trigger finger in there. While I'm trying to pull the trigger, my hand is instinctively pulling a bit left. I'm a right-handed shooter, so that is to be expected when I put in too much trigger finger while I'm pulling the trigger. How can you avoid this? How do you not put too much trigger finger in when you're pulling this trigger? It is very easy. There is an ideal placement for your finger when you are pulling the trigger, and a lot of people for some reason don't know this. They just think, oh, you pull the trigger and boom, it should go where you have it aimed. The ideal placement is actually in between the first joint of your finger and the fingertip. So ideally, the middle of your first pad. That is what you want to use when you are pulling the trigger. Why is that? Simply because it's not too little, it's not going to be too much. You're going to be able to get that trigger pull if you need to. And even in a situation where we're talking a double action trigger like this, the first pad, the middle of it, can still pull the trigger back without you having to move your hands too much. Now again, it's a double action trigger, so be aware of that, but boom. A lot of people seem to think that this tip is bogus, that I'm just making this up, but if you do any research on shooting, where you're placing your finger on the trigger is pretty darn important. So I know this isn't going to be a very long video, but if you are having a little bit of issues shooting a little bit left if you're right-handed, or shooting a little bit right if you're a left-handed shooter, that's more likely than not why. You're probably just giving it a bit too much trigger finger and you need to cool it, give it a little bit less, maybe slow down a little bit as well. But with that being said, I think that about wraps it up for this video. I do plan on doing more than one video today. However, I did at least want to get this video out there, just spread some facts, share a little bit of information. But with that being said, y'all make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share, hit that bell. When you hit that bell, hit all in. Whether or not you agree with me, actually, again, this isn't a whether or not you agree with me video. I am just spreading facts. If you're a right-handed shooter and you're shooting a little bit left or maybe a lot left, The main reason that probably is because you were probably using too much trigger finger, probably way too much trigger finger. And if you are a left-handed shooter and you are shooting a bit right or even a lot right, chances are you are probably using too much trigger finger as well. That's not something you can really disagree with me on. That's just fact. But whether or not you like the content I put in this video, whether or not you like the information I shared with you, go ahead and comment down below. Make sure to check out all my other videos. Y'all make sure to stay legal, stay safe, stay dangerous. Have a good one, y'all. Peace.